Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs podcast. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co host, Mike. Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic after a wonderful weekend of wrestling.
That it was.
Can I just say,
Hmm.
holy crap, Montreal just said Chicago who?
They did. They really did.
They put the wrestling world on notice. That is a legit crowd.
Yeah.
It's a shame the Canadians stink because I would love to see. Like now, I just want to watch Montreal Canadiens hockey, but I'm like, wait, that's nothing like what the crowd I saw at the wrestling shows.
No. I mean, they're hyped, the Canadians, but not like that. I think it was the perfect storm,
Yeah,
and it
it's
just,
so over with everybody.
especially his
The
home
Bears.
crowd. I
Yeah.
mean, just you don't
Yeah,
get.
if somebody were like a big time Eagles fan and and they got to wrestle in Philly, like right before the Super Bowl, like that's the kind of over this crowd had Sammy at. Like, and Sammy is he's a phenomenal talent. I know you and I talked about it several times how incredible he's always been.
Yep.
And that crowd has always believed in Sami Zayn.
Oh yeah.
And what a great 2 nights, really.
Yeah, between Smackdown and then the Chamber. Yeah, that was a long night at my house.
Ooh. So I was really thinking, like on SmackDown, I just want to kind of go chronologically.
Okay.
So when Sammy shows up in Montreal on SmackDown, and I really didn't think they were going to let him get a word in edgewise. Like I thought they were just going to go ballistic every time he cheered. And I almost would have rather him not said anything and just stood out there, soaked it up, and then, I don't know, maybe did a little like point to himself and then point up to the Wrestle Mania sign.
That would have been great.
Like, I think that would have just been epic. Like,
Yeah.
then I think I would have really bought in for a Sammy, because I really feel like in the weeks leading up, I thought, like, that's adorable. They're having Sammy and Roman at Elimination Chamber, but like we all know Sammy's not gonna win. Like Roman's gonna win, and it's gonna be Roman and Cody. And in the end, we got that. But man, there were a couple times there where I was not so sure, including after the Blue Thunder Bomb. That win. Oh man, that is as close as it comes.
Boy, was that on the edge of your seat. Excitement.
Like I was sitting in my man cave, my wife's out in the other room, and I like jump, and she like, what's wrong? Is everything all right? I'm like, oh my god, you wouldn't believe it. She's like, oh geez, you're just reacting to the show. I'm like, it's insane.
Now that's one thing. My wife and Sean's playing Minecraft right now. That's why he's not on with us.
Okay.
They both watched pretty much the whole card with me. My wife really wanted to see the Sami Zayn match because of the build up, and they were getting into it as well.
Yeah, the Sami Zayn just has a way to draw you, and like I noticed it when I first saw him. Like, I'll be honest, over quite a few years, I kind of lost interest in a lot of the independents, and so I didn't know a lot about Sami Zayn. Like, I just knew there was a mask guy, and all of a sudden he was going to be, wrestling without a mask in NXT. When I heard he was coming,
yeah,
and like I'd seen some Ring of Honor, like I'd seen a little bit of Kevin Steen. So I knew enough about him. I knew enough about Bryan Danielson. But like, man, like when I first saw Sammy, like one of my first thoughts was, this guy just has the ability to make you feel something.
He does. He really does. And it was just,
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone got their emotions hyped up a little extra Saturday.
Yeah.
I think I might have had a little too much caffeine, but that's besides the point. Just really fired up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was unbelievable. I can't say enough good things about one, the crowd in Montreal, and Sami Zayn. Both chamber matches were absolutely phenomenal.
They really were good. I mean, it was. I pretty much pulled the double header
Yeah,
on Saturday night, and both shows really were good.
yeah, I know that. I forget what her New Japan name,
Mercedes Monet.
Mercedes Monet. Yeah, I know she won the IWGP Women's Championship,
Yep.
and like, good for her. That's awesome. And do you think it's kind of trying to cash in on the name recognition? And
I think so. And the other thing is really because they have Stardom,
mm-hmm.
same company. I think I forget the media company that bought New Japan has also bought Stardom. So really, they're
Mm-hmm.
just bringing Stardom women in from time to time to do the IWGP show, to do the New Japan show,
Okay,
and it's kind of lost. Like I would have just rather seen the two separate companies.
it kind of seems to me like they're treating it almost like AEW's treating Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but now they're trying to merge a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was a decent show, but
Mm-hmm.
only thing I fell asleep during the main event, but I know what happened because I woke up with like the last couple minutes. And
So, what was the main event?
Okada defended against Tanahashi.
Okay,
So they had their really the two biggest stars of this century going for the.
yeah. So you can't go wrong with those two in the main event.
No, you can't. And then the funny thing is now they announced for a show on March 5th, which some people say Yoshihashi shouldn't be tag champ. I like him, and Goto is
Yeah.
Bushima. They're being challenged by Okada and Tanahashi for the tag titles.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting. But
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I guess they're going to try to make Okada a double champion.
I guess so, because they're trying just to make his luster like John Cena over here.
Okay.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
I guess trying to keep him from ever wanting to test the waters in America.
Oh yeah, because he did wrestle in TNA Impact for a little bit, but they didn't know what they had.
No, they didn't know what they had in him. And I would say I know Jay White and his contract situation leaving New Japan. There's a lot of rumors about
Yes.
him possibly coming to WWE, maybe to face a Grayson Waller.
You know what I would love if he signs with WWE when AJ Styles gets healthy.
Oh, please.
AJ against Jay, please make it happen.
It's funny. I was talking to somebody at work. He loves wrestling, but he only watches WWE.
Okay.
And so he had no idea who Jay White was. And so I told him, I said, dude, I said, just YouTube Jay White. I said, you're welcome. Like, just for the next 3 hours, you are welcome.
Yes.
Like, I promise you, you don't owe me anything. Just thank me when you're done watching.
Yeah.
And because that guy is such a treat to watch.
He really is. When he was in
He
Ring of Honor,
needs to be on a big time stage, whether it's WWE or AEW. I would love to see him in the United States. I think he belongs in WWE.
so do I. I don't think that they put him in NXT immediately.
No, I could easily see him go right to the main roster.
Yeah, because I read on one of these news websites that in January, Triple H was telling creative, get ideas for some big free agents.
Oh man.
And
There's two big names that I've been hearing a lot. Aside from FTR, who I know we talked a little bit about last week.
Right.
But Jay White
Yep.
and Kenny by God Omega.
Yes. And
I just hope that they'd use him right because he's so over with the entire world. I'd hate to see him come in to freaking, I don't know, job out to Ricochet or something.
And see, that's the thing now. The guy who's running creative will know how to use him.
Yeah.
Where with Vince, I think it would be like, well, damn kid, I got Kenny Omega now. What am I going to do with him?
Yeah, and it's like I think he would job out to like Braun Strowman and make Braun look great and like okay, like because you put on the surface there, hey, Kenny Omega versus Braun Strowman. I'm like, cool at WrestleMania. No, this week on SmackDown.
Right. Yeah. Wouldn't be good.
You're right.
No.
And Kenny would do it because he's professional and he would show up and do his job. But like part of it just seems like there's not like I think there's something to being too professional.
Yes.
And like whereas like Stone Cold Steve Austin, when he drew his line in the sand and said, if you're gonna have me job out to Brock Lesnar in a King of the Ring qualifier match, screw you, I'm going home.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I feel like today's wrestler would hear you're gonna lose to Brock Lesnar in a qualifier, and he'd be like, "Well, gosh, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense." But I guess I'll show up and do my job because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, no, sometimes don't be afraid to ruffle feathers.
You're right. And see, I think that it has been such a lost art form in the wrestling business because you don't have places to go anymore like you used to.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem where with the territories, someone who ruffled, I think, every promoter's feather was Bruiser Brody.
Yeah, he did ruffle a lot of feathers.
He ruffled a lot of feathers. But he had those couple territories that he knew
he could go work. Yeah.
Right. He always had All Japan in his pocket. And then he had Puerto Rico. And then he knew if in between he needed something, World Class easily would have had him.
Yeah.
So he had those three, but like if he ruffled feathers with Paul Bosch, that was a really well-known story. So
right. And I certainly don't like I think Kenny Omega I would like to think would stand up for himself more than some of the other guys maybe have in the past, like a Finn Balor, who I think has let himself get jobbed out a little too much while he was on his babyface first run on the main roster.
Yep. And then needed that reset button.
Yeah, and thankfully he did. When he went back to NXT, like you could certainly tell there was an edge about him.
Yeah.
And he's taken that edge back to the main roster. No pun intended, but
and I think him with Judgment Day is a very good fit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
absolutely. He really had and this has to be Edge and Finn Balor will have their big blowout, maybe a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania.
Yep.
And that'll be that. I would like to think anyway.
I would like to think, but I think someone Saturday pointed out to me that maybe they're going to have Judgment Day against Edge in the Revival.
I mean, I suppose.
Right.
But I feel like
I think it's
they have to have Rey and Dominic. That match has to happen at WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of like WrestleMania. I don't know what they're going to do afterwards because I think the Bloodline's going to lose all the gold.
Sure.
And then you're kind of splitting up the Judgment Day for these different shows.
Yeah.
The only one who really...
I feel like Judgment Day is about to end.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
Because I think you're going to have Finn versus Edge. You're going to have Dom and Ray. And we already know we got Rhea against Charlotte for the SmackDown title.
Right.
So really, the only one who doesn't have a match yet is Priest, which
Maybe they'll put him in the Andre the Giant. If they're
maybe
having it at Mania, or even if they're doing it on the SmackDown before, I
they
suppose they can.
might be doing it on the SmackDown. Who knows? Maybe they'll
Yeah,
put him on that. Maybe they'll do one of these crazy multi-man matches.
yeah. I suppose you could do that with either. Well, I guess the U.S. title's gonna be Theory and Cena,
Right.
because it certainly sounds that way now. John Cena coming back to Raw in what, 2 weeks?
Weeks, I think. Yeah, the 6th.
Yeah, gee, I wonder what they're gonna do there.
I wonder.
And yeah, I know we laid out in my mind the plan to how you get to the triple threat with Gunther and Drew McIntyre and Sheamus.
Right.
So yeah, I really don't see what else they could do with Damian Priest. Like,
Yeah, because I don't know what they're going to do with some of these guys that they want to get on the card, but right now, I mean, it's starting to shape, but you can kind of see where they're going to go. So,
right. Like, I mean, the Brock Lesnar Omos match, whatever. It'll be like 2 minutes and Brock will squash him.
right.
I suppose that match could go on second on Sunday or something.
Whenever you want to kill the crowd, put that match on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be awful.
Yeah, that's going to be bowling shoe ugly.
Yeah.
Lesnar and Bray Wyatt or Lashley and Bray. It should have been Brock and Bray Wyatt, but
Right.
Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt. I suppose that'll be a good match. I'll enjoy that one.
And the thing is, what are they going to do in that match with like Uncle Howdy? How's he going to play into it?
I wonder if he runs out and Lashley just kind of tries to squash him, like, run that, like, his bullhammer straight ahead attitude and try to run through Uncle Howdy, and that sets up the distraction where Bray Wyatt catches him with either Sister Abigail or the Mandible Claw.
I wonder how they're going to play this off. Or is Lashley finally going to say to MVP, let's bring the Hurt Business back?
I could see, like, especially like if they were to tease something over the next couple of weeks, have Bray Wyatt getting the advantage on Bobby Lashley and making him look silly. And that's where Lashley goes to MVP and says, look, we need the Hurt Business.
I think that would be great too.
Yeah.
I think they need that.
I loved the Hurt Business. I didn't like that they got rid of them when they did.
Yeah, no, I think they need to bring them back.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I like that Sheldon Benjamin and Cedric Alexander then each have something to do.
Right.
I think they're both underutilized talents.
They definitely are. And another name, if we're talking about revamping it, why not get creative? Why don't we put Carmelo Hayes in there?
I think that would be awesome. If they brought up Carmelo and Trick Williams.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Or maybe try to run it like maybe where the MVP is trying to spread himself out over all three brands. And says he's got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams on NXT. Right. And he's got Raw and SmackDown each week. Like, I mean, I know that would be a lot of travel for MVP.
It would be.
But, I mean,
he could do it.
Oh, he certainly could. And if you just said, like, okay, well, 1 week we'll have some backstage segments that you can film them all whenever you want.
Right.
If you want MVP a part of it. And then Carmelo and Trick, maybe they wrestle like every other week or every 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And that can kind of curb some of MVP's travel.
Yeah. I don't know. They've got a lot of things they could do if they bring the Hurt Business back.
It would be fantastic. I would love it.
I think they need a couple more stables. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind if they kept Judgment Day around a little bit longer, have the Hurt Business, and then do a couple. I mean, don't make it where everyone has to be in a stable like other companies do.
New Japan? AEW? Yeah.
It's bad. I mean, it seems like too many. It's like you don't need that many stables, but
Like, I was happy when they got rid of Team Taz because I
yeah,
felt like that was too much.
yeah, they weren't doing anything with them.
Mm-mm.
Now, and then it's like they break up Jurassic Express, but now they have Jungle Hook.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that's just like a tag team that's kind of part time that doesn't really, like, then they're not staying together, really.
Right. Yeah, and there's a spoiler about tonight's Dynamite that's out.
Oh, yeah.
I will pretty much guarantee Aussie Open does not do anything in the tag team battle royal
Okay.
because they are announced to be at the New Japan anniversary show March 6th.
Oh, well, then, yeah, they're not going to try to do double duty.
Yeah, and Revolution's March 5th. So,
Right.
yeah, they're not. I didn't really think they were going to put them in there anyway, but it's nice to see.
No. I'm curious, who do you think would be the two teams to join, whatchamacallit,
The Guns.
the Acclaimed and the Guns? Yeah.
I don't even know who's all in it.
Which, can I just say, why don't you just have the Acclaim versus the Guns? Like, have the rematch. Like, you don't need to do all this extra work.
I think it's because how awful the reaction was when the Guns won.
Well,
And
it sucked. What did they want from people?
and then I think what I'm thinking is the reason why they're making it a four-way is either A, the Acclaimed win the titles back and they pin one of the other two teams to have this feud drag out more, and they want the Guns to look strong because they're a homegrown AEW team.
Okay.
They want them, or one of these other two teams wins it, and maybe we get away from those two teams in the cycle of the championship.
That makes a lot of sense. The getting the belts away from those two teams.
Yes.
Because to me, if you were just going to have the Acclaim win the belts back at Revolution, I would have said, well, just have the two teams face each other at a rematch. And see, I don't think necessarily having the belts going back and forth is all that terrible. I mean, the
Yes,
Usos
definitely
and the New Day did it.
Yeah, it worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a look here. I'm trying to hello? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I know you kind of froze up on me. I guess it was probably me freezing up.
Yeah. I just see a graphic here. This is not going to be that great. Here's who they have pictured. Best friends.
Okay.
Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett.
Okay.
The Lucha Brothers.
Okay.
The Butcher and the Blade. Whatever they're called, 2.0 or
Yeah, from
the those
from
two.
JAS, yeah, or JES, yeah.
Looks like Dark Order has a team going in. Johnny Hungy and Alex Reynolds probably.
Okay.
And then Davari and Tony Nese is what they have so far.
Oh boy.
So I don't know. And then Aussie Open's not pictured, but they were announced to be in it. Let's see here. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
That is not gonna be a good battle royal.
Yeah, that's gonna draw up dog shit numbers.
It really is. It really is. Wow. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Like again, why not just let the Acclaim versus the Guns? Like
So I'm assuming because it's two teams. I'm assuming the Lucha Brothers are going to have to be in it.
I would assume so. And what
I'm
do you think?
assuming
Jarrett and Lethal?
that's who else I was going to say,
Yeah.
because they kind of have challenged the Acclaim here and there. And honestly, if you're looking for two teams to make the other two teams look better, they're your best options.
Yeah.
Because Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett could pretty much have a match with wet paper bags and make it look entertaining.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you get your high spot city with the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna say they'll entertain you with the spots.
Yeah. And then you can have the Guns and the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that'll be what it is. Look, we talked about how WrestleMania 5 was an event built around the main event. Let's be honest, this whole pay-per-view is going to be built around MJF and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, the double main event, I think it's built around.
Yeah.
Because I think that, and then the Moxley Page Texas Death Match.
Yeah, the Texas Death Match. Yeah.
That's going to be great. I mean, we have what? Joe Wardlow 15 already?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Wardlow. I mean, look, I was kind of intrigued when they started the story. My intrigue is gone now.
It really is. That story's not that great.
No, I feel like any appeal for that story has been long since exasperated.
Right. And I mean, they gave the belt to Darby for a little bit. I thought, hey, this is something interesting.
I thought so too. I thought, okay, and if we wanted to have Wardlow maybe go over to Ring of Honor, you could have them compete for the television title.
Right. I mean, Joe is the king of television again, so
yeah.
I don't know. And then
it feels like a wet fart. Like
it really does. It's a train wreck at this point.
So, and it's so funny you mentioned that it's the double main event. I'm on WrestleMania 23 on my road to WrestleMania. Okay. I just have the main event left to watch on that one. Shawn Michaels, John Cena.
Right.
One, I find it interesting that now they want to call so many matches on a card the main event. Saying a guy, oh, he main evented WrestleMania. No, you didn't. If you didn't go on last, you didn't main event.
Correct.
You were an attraction at the show.
At the show, yeah. And that's
fine.
They were saying that about Bianca and Asuka. They're not going to be the main event. Yeah, they're going to be a title match at WrestleMania. However,
that's a big deal.
By no means is that going to close out night one.
No. And we all know night two is Cody and Roman.
You could put in pen night two, Cody Roman.
Get you a chisel and some stone. That's night two.
That's night two. Night one main event, still up in the air, but I don't see Asuka Bianca headlining it.
No.
And honestly, I don't see Charlotte Rhea being a main event.
I don't either. I mean, as much as I like the match, to me, I feel like that should maybe open WrestleMania.
I think maybe.
And I think it'd be a great banger to open up the show with.
Yeah.
And you could close out with a nice banger of Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Gunther for the Intercontinental title night one.
That would be great. Another thing, they're kind of ambiguous right now, but how are they going to get to the tag team match? Is my question.
I kind of like that Kevin Owens kind of seemed to turn down Sammy.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I thought of something that would really be interesting. Because you have Jimmy and Jay fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Why not do something completely different for the tag team titles? have a fatal four-way between Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. The winner picks their partner going forward to be the tag team champion.
Oh,
This way, we still get the four in the match, but
yeah.
it's an extra nugget. Like if Sammy at the end could say, "Kevin, do you want it?" or have Jay turn.
And I mean, wouldn't that be something? It's like Sammy looks over at Jay and is just like ready to offer him the belt. And Jimmy's saying to him, no, don't take it. And Jay super kicks Jimmy and takes the belts.
Right. That would be something to build.
Yeah, that would be something.
It's not going to happen. It's just in my
Yeah.
mind. So, that's not
No.
going to work. Yeah, because no one from WWE probably even knows we exist on this.
No, I doubt. Like,
I
I mean,
doubt.
I've gotten a few things saying how, and I want to say it might be that, since we have it's the TLC podcast, since we certainly don't have copyright rights to that.
Right.
Like, not that I think anybody at WWE even knows we exist.
Exactly.
Which, please, if anybody out there is watching, don't tell them.
Don't tell them.
Although they canceled TLC. Like, what do you care now?
Exactly. It's no longer a pay-per-view. Or excuse me, a premium live
event.
Yes. So.
Yeah, I'm very curious how they're going to get. I would assume at some point, like, Sammy gets into a confrontation, Jay maybe turns on him.
Right.
And, like Sammy's getting beat down, and Kevin Owens comes out and saves him.
And see, I thought that would have been perfect for Montreal.
And so did I. I thought that's exactly what was going to happen.
Right. But then
when Roman handed Jay the chair, I really thought that Jay's just going to take it and waylay him.
Right. I thought this was going to be battle lines drawn.
Yeah.
Full speed ahead. Let's go.
Yeah. And they really kind of threw a curveball there.
They did. They threw a lot of curveballs. So.
And I like it because I can still see a path to getting there, but it's not direct, and I like that.
Right. It's a little fuzzy, and you're kind of like, how are they going to do it now? Makes you think more.
Right. And to somebody who, like, look, we've been watching wrestling for years, for decades.
Yes.
Like, when they're making us question how are they getting there, you're tricking the average viewer.
Yeah, definitely. When you have serious, lifelong fans saying, what are they going to do next?
Yeah.
The people who just started watching are just like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, right. They can't even guess yet.
No.
Whereas, I mean, I'll tell you, for the longest time, like last year, I remember saying on the broadcast for months that we were getting set up for Randy Orton and Riddle at WrestleMania last year.
Yep.
And I know that was originally their plan, but I don't think they accounted for RK Bro being as over as they were. And it was just like, how do you split that team?
Yeah, they couldn't at that point.
And I almost thought that the same thing was about to happen with Sammy and the Bloodline.
Right.
Because part of me was really like, you know what? I don't want to see Sammy break away from the Bloodline.
No, he was great with them, but he's great against them.
He is great. And the thing is, and at first I remember thinking, I'm like, I'm not going to like this. I really wanted Sammy to stay with the Bloodline. As soon as the turn happened and he was facing it, I was hardcore into it. I was like, yep, Sammy versus the Bloodline. Let's go.
Right. Yeah. As soon as the turn happened at Rumble, boom.
Yeah. As soon as Sammy hit Roman with the chair. Well, I'll tell you, to me, Jay's response is what sold it for me.
Right.
And it certainly seemed like Jay was more than willing to come in and be the tag team partner with Jimmy, but he's not sure that he wants to be part of the whole Bloodline. Exactly. And I would assume that has to be addressed this Friday on SmackDown.
Yes.
And I mean, we're going to have that first Roman and Cody face to face soon.
Yeah, we are. Because Roman keeps sending the wise man to Raw.
Yeah. And I got to believe that if the wise man shows up on Raw again, he's getting Crossroads.
That would be phenomenal. I mean, he took a stunner, so why not take Crossroads?
Like, I just got to believe that, like, this almost screams like there's a great line from The Sopranos where Tony's talking to a guy and he says, "My next move will not be further conversation." I feel like that's something that Cody should say to Paul Heyman.
I think
look, Paul, go back and tell your boy, if you come back here again, my next move will not be further conversation.
I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. And then he drops him with a Crossroads just to tell everybody, yeah, I'm still that guy.
Exactly. And I think that's what they need to do. They need to do something with Cody hitting Heyman to kind of forward this a little bit, because all the talk in the world's good, but
Cody's a wonderful talker. But yeah, we need some physicality now from Cody.
Right. And we need it against Roman.
Yeah.
We need something to pop here.
Yeah, because I mean, Cody, he comes in 30 in the Rumble. I mean, he had some moments in it. It's not like he came in with 3 people left and just, eliminated everybody right off the bat and won.
No,
there's still moments where he was in peril.
Yeah. Especially against Gunther at the end.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of expected Cody to win, but Gunther played that perfect role in which, wait a minute.
It kind of made you wonder, yeah.
Is Cody really going to win, or is Gunther going to run the table? Especially because he started number 1.
Right.
It was like, is he going to run the table and do it?
And it's funny because as much as I remember in an exchange with you, I didn't think Rhea needed to win from 1 in order to get over.
No.
Gunther winning from 1 would have been I think Gunther needed to go the distance to establish himself as a main event megastar.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. They had Gunther do it first.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really well done. But then when they had Liv and Rhea do it the same night.
Yeah, it kind of seemed overdone then.
It seemed like, okay, you just did it. Why do it again?
Right.
Yeah.
Let Rhea come in I don't know, 27, 28 or whatever.
And clean house and win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't need to dominate from the 1 entrant all the way through.
No. And see, the one thing I thought of was I thought Beth Phoenix was going to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
Be in the match to add a little caveat. And
so did I. Yeah, I thought she might too.
After she speared her, I thought, oh, they're going to put Beth in. And maybe we'll get some excitement to build up the change. But no, Beth wasn't even in it.
Yeah.
Yet Nia Jax made a one-off appearance.
Yeah, which was really dumb. And she didn't even get her line in.
She didn't. No, she was just
get my whole.
She didn't get her line in. God bless.
Yeah, thank God. That was so dumb.
That was.
I thought for sure when she was going out, I'm like, she's gonna land awkwardly and she's gonna say it. Here we go. Here we go.
And we didn't get it. It was just like,
oh,
that was a letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was more of a let up, if that's a term.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know where we're going with the main event of WrestleMania. We know, it kind of, we said, it seems like Brock Lesnar and Omos, as MVP at Omos, threw down that challenge. It certainly sounds like Lashley Bray Wyatt. I know we teased this a little earlier. Like, do you think maybe we see Lashley this week on SmackDown?
I hope we do.
Yeah.
I really hope we do. Kind of build it up. Like, okay, here comes Lashley. Let's do this.
Because to me, like, or I wonder if it could be like if Bray Wyatt says something and then Lashley comes out on Monday and says, like, keep my name out of your mouth. Like,
Right.
and I'm going to show up to SmackDown. If you've got something else to say, you can say it to my face.
Yeah. I wonder how they're going to build that up.
Yeah. I was waiting when he started talking. I was waiting for the lights to go out and
Right.
Bray Wyatt to show up and attack.
Yeah. I was really hoping he would, but one was going to have to come over.
Yeah.
Over their
What
show.
would be cool is if Lashley showed up on SmackDown, basically like, hey, you know what? I'm just kind of jonesing for a fight. Has a match with anybody. You're figuring it's going to be Bray Wyatt, but like maybe LA Knight challenges him, and you have Lashley, LA Knight on SmackDown, and at the end of the match, the lights go out. Bray Wyatt hits and attacks.
Exactly. That would be good.
Lots of openings there. I'm really excited for that one.
Me too.
I will say, so it looks like we're gonna get next week on Raw, Lita and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control for the tag titles. I can tell by your reaction you're not excited by this.
Not at all. I think it's just bring another legend in, try to have another match. Lita can still go.
Sure.
But if we don't need to have Lita and Becky against Damage Control. Damage Control should defend their titles at WrestleMania against Ronda and Shayna. They're the two who they've been putting on SmackDown as a tag team. Let that happen. If you wanted to have Lita have a match, it should have been this Saturday against Damage Control at the Chamber.
But you know what they're going to do. Becky and Lita win the tag team titles, and they take on Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania.
I'm smelling something else.
Do you?
I'm smelling the traditional four-way women's tag team match at Mania.
Oh, no. Who's the fourth team then?
Oh, hold on. Let me get to my notebook. Let's see here.
Don't tell me like Liv and Tegan Knox or something.
Shotzi and Natalia have nothing to do.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
That's what that's what they're thinking. It's always, hey, we need a big match. I mean, come on. Was it last year they did the gauntlet?
Yeah, or was that 2 years ago when Mandy slipped? Isn't that the gauntlet you're talking about, the night Mandy slipped?
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if the women's tag match was even tag titles were defended last WrestleMania.
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it.
I'm trying to think. Let me see here. What was it? WrestleMania 38?
Yeah. Well, this is bad. This is how we know we're getting old. We're having to dig back to get the card from last year's WrestleMania.
Well, I think it was so forgetful too.
Yeah.
Other than like your Austin match and your Rock match, was it really anything to write home about? I mean, between just the events, yeah. I meant to say Roman.
Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. Yeah, Roman and Lesnar, Austin and Kevin Owens, Rollins and Cody. Right. Like,
Yeah, because Cody came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
let's
trying
see.
to.
The tag titles, the Usos versus Rick Boogs and Shinsuke.
Yeah,
That
that opened.
opened the show. Yeah.
Right. Oh no, I have it on my. I'm on my laptop here, and I'm waiting for it to load up.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't. It's
If they
barely.
were defended, it wasn't memorable.
No, that's the whole thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what happened to them?
Oh, did Naomi and
Sasha,
Sasha win them that night?
did they?
They might have.
That's what I'm trying to see here. I'm doing our due diligence on the air here.
Yeah, sorry guys. But like you said, no matter what they did, like last year's, it wasn't memorable.
No, it
I
wasn't.
remember I was at 35, the first defense of the women's tag titles on pay-per-view, and we had new tag team champs that night.
Right.
And again, a fatal four-way.
In a fatal four-way. Yep.
Yeah. The Iconics, which they were phenomenal. I missed them terribly.
Oh, they were great together. When they split them up, I was
That was
like,
so dumb.
what are you doing? They're great together. They're like best friends in real life. Let
Yeah.
them be.
They were legitimate best friends. And oh my god, they were hilarious.
They were. They really were. And they just split them up. It was awful. But
Yeah. It was really, that was one of the worst ideas Vince McMahon ever had.
yeah. He said plenty of horrible ones. That was one of them.
That ranks right up there.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, as we're struggling to find this. It's not a big deal. Either way, like last year's tag title defense was not big if it happened at all.
If it happened at all. Yeah, who knows? We'll figure it out for next week. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like some of the matches I like, well, going through my road to WrestleMania that I've completely forgotten about. I want to say it was like 2 years in a row they had some kind of, women like lingerie pillow fight or Playboy match of some kind in 22 and 23. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is abysmal.
Yeah. I mean, and then didn't they do one? I'm thinking at 19, wasn't there one on your road?
Yeah, they had the Miller Lite Catfight girls.
Yes. I remember they did a cross promotion with them one year.
And they had them and Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson. And it was the biggest waste of a segment.
Oh yeah, they were good at that. And it's incredible.
I mean, Coach got de-pantsed. It was terrible.
And this wasn't even 15, 20 years ago at this point.
Ooh, yeah, this was at 19. So we're
19 is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 23 is 14 years ago. And look at how much it's changed now.
Oh, I know. There are none of those like one of my favorites was actually Christy Hemme against Trish Stratus. And that kind of felt like they were trying to break that glass ceiling of like, hey, we're not just a pretty face.
Yes.
But like Trish dominated Christy Hemme and I mean made her look stupid.
But then again, I mean, we are talking about one of the top 3 greatest women wrestlers of all time.
But it almost felt like that was done like with a purpose. Like,
yeah, it was like, I'm the head, you get in line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is my house.
Yeah. And I mean, Trish was just like, And I remember even in the promos when she says to her, she's like, "Look, I'm a 6-time women's champion. If you step in the ring with me, you're going to get hurt."
Yes.
Like I felt like that was like it felt like okay, like there are some things I know this is all an act, but I think she really kind of means that.
She meant business, I little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That because Chrissy Hemme really WWE never materialized.
No.
Winning the Diva search that they did. I mean,
It was a year later she was out of the company.
Yeah. To me, her better work was an Impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I mean, just as the ring announcer, she was fantastic.
Yeah. And she did ring announcing. She did a little bit of matches here and there, but
And the stuff she did with was it called Sam Shaw then? Dexter Loomis?
oh yeah.
That was some creepy stuff that he did with her.
He's such a creeper in his performance.
Yeah.
And the mustache.
He plays that too well, I think.
Yeah. And the stash just adds to the creepiness now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because my wife they're actually at the eye doctor and they want me to meet him in a few minutes. So they're getting new glasses tonight.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And she hates mustaches. And like, oh, he's so creepy. I said, it adds to the luster of him.
It really does. And that's a quality mustache.
That is. That it is.
But we can go ahead and wrap things up then so you can get going and pick up your wife.
Oh, I told her we're not done for a couple minutes. So.
But it's fine. We certainly this doesn't have to be an hour and a half long episode like we've had in the last few weeks.
Right. Yeah, we've been cranking out some good ones.
We cranked out some bangers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Sheamus and Drew would be proud of our bangers we're doing.
Yeah, I think they would be. They would be. I'll tell you, I'm curious as to how they're going to get there, but I think we're going to get the Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Gunther match.
I hope so.
Because to me, like, that would just be like, because Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, they don't need any provocation. Like, you don't need to set up some story for them to have a match against each other and be like, hey, so we're going to have this match. We're competing against each other for the Intercontinental title. Okay.
Exactly.
And they'll just tear the house down.
Right. I can't wait.
WrestleMania this year is going to be fantastic.
It will be. It's good. Both nights are going to be amazing.
Like, I think this is the most excited I've been about a WrestleMania that I've not been at since probably WrestleMania 30.
Yeah. Yeah, the Daniel Bryan night, that. And I think it's got a lot of parallels with the Cody coming back and that we're going to see the babyface take the title from the heel.
And I certainly think this is going to be emotional. I think the call is going to be very important for Michael Cole to get that call right.
And I think
really, yeah, because this is going to be like a generational, like, like the Austin era has begun.
Yeah.
You know, the son of a plumber has become champion.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if in his call somehow it's the Rhodes family legacy has come true in some form.
Yeah.
In the call. Because Cody has said, I'm the first one from my family to do this. Win the Rumble.
Yeah, and the first in his family to main event a WrestleMania.
Yeah, so this is the legacy of this iconic.
This is all the work. This is Dusty being gone 300 days a year.
Yeah,
like this is all of that coming to fruition.
Yeah,
all of that hard work that his whole family went through is all paying off, and I'm so happy for Cody.
Me too.
He deserves, and the thing about it, he certainly took the long road to get there.
Oh, did he ever? But he gambled on himself and won.
Yeah, he certainly did. And that promo that he did where he talked about his road and said, like, if he got to go back and say to his 19-year-old self, brand new in the business, and how he thought he'd be champion in 2 years, if he had the chance to go back and talk to himself, he wouldn't say a thing because he wouldn't want to cheapen that journey.
Yeah.
That's somebody who just appreciates
the business.
Yeah, and how hard things can be and how sometimes the reward is the hard work.
It is.
And he has seen that hard work and he's seen it come to fruition. And I for one, can't wait to cheer him on as he does it.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
All right, I think that's a good note to go out on.
All righty.
And I'll keep everybody informed of the rest of my road to WrestleMania. I'm going to try to get through a couple more this week. I know I told you off air that I'm not going to be as concerned about finishing by WrestleMania, but I will finish at some point. I will get through all of them.
That'll be good.
And so when I get through the last one, I think I'll if it's after this year's WrestleMania, I think I will rewatch this year's as well. And I can give you a whole synopsis, 1 to 39, and just my takeaways from the entire journey.
That'll be great.
All right. Everybody have a great night and happy wrestling.